Morning. Today is Friday, the 12th day of Elul. And we begin today a new chapter, a new letter, the letter Yud Gimel 13 of Igeret Hakodesh from the Alter Rebbe. And this letter also is talking in a way about tzedakah, charity, but it comes from a letter that Alter Rebbe wrote to the community, his community, to raise money for the people in Eretz Israel. But the children of the Alter Rebbe, they put in this letter in the Tanya, they took out that part that addresses the fundraising part, and they left the message of the letter that talks about the different types of souls of the Jewish people. You have different types of neshamas. Some of them are connected more with the right side. Some of them are connected more with the left side. Right side represents kindness, represents generosity. Left side is more restrictions, severities. And he asked the question, now which one is better? Yeah, of course, you would say the right side, the kindness is better. But the truth of the matter is, we need both. They say Avraham Avinu, our father Abraham, he was from the side of kindness. His son Yitzchak, the second of the three forefathers, he was from the side of gevurah, the severities. So the fact that we have the different types of neshamas is because we need different types of neshamas. Each one has their own mission in life. There's a story of Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, who was once walking and he saw a person who was, made a comment like, what kind of ugly person are you? And the fact that he said it, he was very offended. And he told him, why don't you go to my maker, the one who made me, and tell him, look how ugly the vessel that you have made. Obviously talking about God. And Rabbi Elazar felt really bad. And he asked him his forgiveness, and he didn't want to forgive him. Until he went to the city, the people went and they welcomed Rabbi Elazar. And he protested and said, who are you welcoming, this person? And anyway, long story short, they all asked him to forgive him, and finally forgave him. And obviously, when Rabbi Elazar made a comment like this, it was something. There's something into a deeper. He didn't mean about the ugly outside looking. He meant about his character, that his outside appearance represented of a deeper character. And nevertheless, he said to Rabbi Elazar, you see me this character? Why don't you go to my maker and tell him about what kind of terrible thing he created? When Rabbi Elazar then realized that he's right. Hashem creates us in different ways. Different people have different characters, and there is a reason for it, because there is ways to use it out in a proper way. That's why husband and wife, for example, we get married expecting to change the spouse. But very soon you realize that this is not a dream you can realize. And the truth is, you don't have to realize it. Everyone has a different character, and we just have to work together. So here in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe is going to talk about these two types of characters, and understand that the character is rooted into the very soul, that they come from a different part, a different level of neshamas. So the point of the Alter Rebbe is making here that yes, we are created when we are connected with a certain part of neshama, but in the same time, we should not be we should not stick with only what we were made, because humans are made to be able to work on ourselves and to change and to incorporate both sides should benefit from both sides. Should have both the right side and the left side. Although some people are more inclined to the right, more people are inclined to the left, and I'm not talking politically. I'm talking about the kindness, the severities. But at the same time, we need to be whole. We need to incorporate everything what God has in this world. And so the right people need to have a little bit of the left people have to have a little bit of the right, and that's how you balance. So let's see inside the Alter Rebbe speaking about today's share. Chapter Yud Gimel, letter Yud Gimel. Alter Rebbe begins with the verse that it says, "Ma rav tuvcha asher tzafanto lireyecha." So it says, how abundant is your goodness, which you have hidden away for those who fear you. So when we're talking about the things that you're hidden away for those who fear you, then the verse then continues, Pa'alta lachosim bach neged bnei adam. You have given it to those who trust you in front of people. So in this verse, it seems like there is a contradiction. The beginning of the verse is talking about goodness that God has hidden away. The end of the verse talks about the good that he put in front of people, meaning not hidden. And this, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain this about the two different types of neshamas that we explained. Says the Alter Rebbe, Ine, bichlal oivdei Hashem, yesh beis b'chinos u'madregas chalukos. Among those who serve God by fulfilling the Torah and the mitzvahs, there are two distinct kinds and levels. There are two types of kinds, two levels. And the differences comes from the source. Depending on the root of their soul above. In the categories of the right, the chesed, and the left, the gevurah. In terms of the effect of the soul's root, it says this means that the left is characterized by contraction, by concealment in one's divine service. So we're talking about contraction, concealment. It has its effect in many areas in life. And Alter Rebbe brings an example, 3 examples of Torah, Tefillah, and Gemilut Chasadim, about the 3 pillars that the world stands on. That in these 3 pillars, studying Torah, praying, and doing good acts of kindness. So people who are from the left side, all of them will be affected by his soul, that his soul is more a constricted soul. So it will have the Hainu shebechinat small hi midat tzimtzum v'ester b'avodat Hashem. That means that it will be concealed in the service of Hashem. K'moshe katuv v'atzneh lechet chulu. Thus, with regards to this manner of service, it is written, and to walk covertly with the Lord your God. You do things hiddenly. That is talking about giving tzedakah. Some people say, give it tzedakah, hatzna lechas, do it. Charity, do it in hiding, don't publicize it. But as we'll soon see, that also you need both. There was once, the Rebbe was talking about giving a lot of money and publicizing, people should know. And the Rebbe said, and of course there will be those people who will say, don't we have to give money in a hidden way, matan beseter, a hidden way, hatzna lechet? So the Rebbe says, sure, you can do that. What does it mean? You can give money in a public way, give a nice big amount, and then hidden, secretly, give 10 times as much. So you can have both. But the point here is that this type of neshama, the people that have this inclination to do things in a hidden way, they're more introverted. And then it says also, Bamistarim tivke nafshi. In another verse, we find, in secret place, weeps my soul. This is talking about prayer. praying also secretly in a hiding place. Not everybody should see him. More a hidden person. And the same thing is when it comes to the study of the Torah. So it says, in the words of the sages, whoever engages in the study of the Torah in secret. So all of these things, they have this kind of person that does everything in a restricted way, in a hidden way. והנה says the Alter Rebbe, ממידה זו נמשכה גם כן מבחינת הצמצום והגבול בעבודת השם. Now, from this attribute derives also the element of contraction and limitations in the service of God. Now, whatever he does in the service of God is limited. For example, for example, when it comes to give charity, so is judged according to one's means. According to your means, this is how much charity you give. And then there is another law that it says, and he who gives lavishly should not expend more than 1/5. It says, tzedakah, you shouldn't give more than 1/5. We spoke about it a lot in the previous chapters, that this is the regular and ordinary way. When you give tzedakah, you should give not more than 20%. And he made exceptions, of course, if people need to forgive, to atone, but we're not going into this now. But the point here is that you have a person who is, this is his character, doing everything restricted, whatever he needs. Likewise, in regard to the study of the Torah and other mitzvahs. So such a person is satisfied if he discharges his definite duty, which the Torah explicitly obligates him to do. So the Torah obligates me to study Torah, let's say 1 hour a day, 1 hour in the morning and at night. I do exactly what is demanded, but I don't go over, I don't go beyond. The Kvoya eating as to set aside certain times to Torah study. So we do exactly. I give exactly how much tzedakah I needed. I study how much Torah I need, and I pray how much I need, but not more. This comes from the restrictive part. Mimena nimshach. Gam, here there was a part in the Tanya that was written a little later. The Rebbe says it makes more sense to put it here. And it says that from Mimena nimshach, gam asher amru razal zroik mora b'talmidim. From it derives also the teaching of our sages of blessed memory, cast awe upon the pupils. In other words, when you sit down to teach children, the children, on one end it says, when you teach, you start a class, you need to have, start with a joke, open them up. But then after the joke, after the opening the heart, they have to have also discipline. So it says, cast awe upon the pupils. So that also comes from the side of the left side, from the severity, the strictness, the seriousness. But then you have the other side. By contrast, the characteristics of the right is the attitude of chesed. The chesed, the expansiveness serving God. And this is with such a expansiveness without any contraction and concealment whatsoever. As it is written, and I will walk about expansively. So you're not restricted to how much you give. You give a lot. And with everything. Not just monetary giving. You give a lot, you study a lot, you're open, you're extroverted, you're doing things in an open way. And also without any contraction or limitation whatsoever. There is no restraint to the spirit of his generosity, whether it be with respect to charity, the study of Torah, or other commandments. Every commandment is doing it in an expansive way. And he's not satisfied at merely discharging his obligations, but he continues to the extent of never saying enough, always wanting more and more and more. That is the person who is on the side of the chesed. And Alter Rebbe in tomorrow's class, this is the end of today's class, in tomorrow's class, the Alter Rebbe is going to continue to say that we need to have a combination of both. When do you know that you really serve Hashem? When you involve both sides. This is the famous story of one of the 10 martyrs, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion, who was killed by the Romans for teaching Torah. And he once, before he passed away, he asked Rabbi Yossi ben Kismi, asked him, Rabbi, tell me, do I have a share in the world to come? And Rabbi Yossi ben Kismi asked him, tell me something special you did. So he told him that he had the money, saved up money to give tzedakah, and he put it in one place. He had also money in another bag that he prepared for his Purim expenses, the meal of Purim. And then those bags got mixed up. And what did he do? He took both bags and gave it to tzedakah, and then he took other money to use for Purim. So Rabbi Yossi ben Kisman told him, in that case, you surely are going to the world to come, you have a share in the world to come, and may I also be part of your share. So the Rebbe asked the question, the Alter Rebbe asked this question, that what does that mean? Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion, we just said he was a martyr, he was killed by the Romans for teaching Torah. For teaching Torah, he gave his life up for teaching Torah, and yet he was not sure that he would have a share in the world to come. That was not enough. Only when he told him some other anecdote, something that happened with him with money that was exchanged, he gave some extra money, then he was okay. He told him, yes, now I know I have a share in the world to come. And the Rebbe explains that what Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma is telling him, when he told him he was teaching Torah, learning Torah, sometimes people have just by nature, they just love to study Torah. He wanted to make sure that he's doing of the teaching of Torah was not just because he liked to do it for himself, but he really did it for Hashem, for God. That is why he told him, give me some other anecdote, something that happened. And when he told him the story about spending the money, then he told him, now I know you did it for Hashem. Why? Because by nature, a person who is the type of person who is more inclined to sit and study. This is more an introverted person more restricted. So he's introverted, he goes and he's by himself, he's teaching and studying. But when he told him about the story, the anecdote with the giving away, expensive, to give more than just the necessities, that shows that he went against his nature. That even if his nature was this way, that shows that whatever he did it for Hashem, not for himself. And the same thing that the Rebbe says, this is what we need to incorporate with everything in our life. First of all, to use out whatever nature we have. If we have a nature of open nature, of giving nature, a loving nature, so let's use out this nature to use it in the ways of Hashem. You can be loving for good things and you can be loving for negative things. We got to do it in the proper way. But in addition to that, also it's not enough to go with the flow, go with your inclinations, but you have to go also against your nature and to try to adapt also things that you're not very comfortable with, things that is outside of your comfort zone. And when you do this, then you become a whole. Then you become a balanced Jew that does the things for the sake of Hashem. So this is the end of today's shir. Thank you so much for joining. Any questions you can ask now, we can discuss it. And don't forget to share and invite more people. Baruch Hashem, more and more people start seeing this. Let's get this out. More and more people will study the Torah.